Are you having a good time? Really? You promise? Not too much talk, yak, 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 yak? A little bit? Okay, because I want to tell you something about you. Because hardworking Jonathan Bays, who works with me, went into his room around midnight and counted the number of people who registered. So there are 347 of you. And this is the breakdown of who you are, because you're going to meet each other in a little while. We're going to find out from you, as we have been listening to wonderful people who are citizen artists, but we'd like to hear from you what you think this is all about. So, but before we do that, and before you introduce yourselves to each other, so out of 347 people, 15%, 52 of you are arts administrators. And 39 of you, 11%, are students. Yes. 46 of you, 13%, are artists. 29 of you, or 8%, work in nonprofits in philanthropy. And 5%, 20 of you, are in higher education. And 16 or 4% are in education from K through 12. And 14 people, 4%, are at work at the Kennedy Center. Now, but there's more. You heard about talk of aliens, right? At some point in the future. I think they're here because there are 63 people, 18%, that are registered, but they've said nothing about who they are. Are you hiding something? This is the moment. Yeah, I would be nervous. You know who you are. So I'm going to start off by saying, as a 60-year-old, I've been playing a cello for 56 years. And I've always wondered what it was for. You know, I knew I loved music, and partly it's because I'm an immigrant. I'm not even second generation. I'm first generation immigrant. I have to figure out where I am, what I do, why I'm doing it. And so the question of citizenship is very important to me, personally. And I've made my peace with what I do later on in life by realizing one thing, because my wife and I have a 32-year-old son and a 30-year-old daughter. And speaking from the point of view of having been a child to parents and now parents to children, I can say that bringing up children and having a family or being part of a family just is so much more complex and rewarding than anything I've ever touched in music. So kind of having realized that at some point, maybe during teenage years of my children, I've realized that actually the greatest art form, you know, it's not about elitism or populist art or whatever. The greatest art form that we can practice is living our lives. So just on that basis, I think that we are all citizen artists because we're trying to craft, we're trying to be the architects of our lives. But that's the base point. Now we go to more specific ways of thinking, whether they're JFK values of service, collaboration, and action, or any of the huge numbers of ways that we've already heard this morning from Alice, from Dave, and others. So would you take, for 2 minutes, look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, look in front of you, introduce yourselves to your neighbors, and start a conversation. I'll time you for 2 minutes, not more. And all aliens, watch out. I'm going to go in front, and I'm going to meet, and define what citizen artist is for yourselves. Go ahead. I'm watching you. Go. Hi, I'm Yo-Yo.
I'm Samantha.
Samantha. Okay, time's up. Oh my gosh, I hope you've met all the aliens and you've identified who the aliens are, because now I think I actually had 2 very good conversations, and I'd like various people to come and actually with mics, people have mics. This man has just raised his hand. If you could go to him, I'm gonna ask this man what he thinks citizen artist is and what your conversations have been about. Yes, go ahead.
I'm in the alien category, so
Okay,
I'm visiting. I'm a recovering corporate person, which is hard to. Yeah, exactly. We come in peace. We come in peace. I promise. Yeah. We had a great conversation. So my conversational colleague is from Peabody, and we were talking about how do you completely rethink. Oh no, yes. oh, he's waving, okay, curriculum, and then thinking about what is the duty of care for this larger narrative of citizenship. And so breaking out of the old silos, reimagining what a society could be that actually celebrated that sense of community, and a duty of care where these values were something that endured in every aspect of our society. And so how do we reimagine that? So it was very exciting. It was nice to meet, I'm sorry, your name from Peabody? Yeah, so.
Okay.
Anyway.
Someone from this group, the non-alien group. Yes, sir. Speak up.
I'm not
Just-
an alien.
Okay.
I'm a teacher.
Okay.
And higher ed. And so Brian and I met. Brandon and I met. And oh, you need a microphone. Brandon and I met, and we immediately formed a collaboration that really encompasses the notion of citizen artist from the point of view of working to educate the next generation. So he's going to be coming. I'm telling you, you are. He's going to be coming to visit students at Shenandoah University to talk to them about arts policy issues. And we don't have an arts policy course, so we're going to inject that into the program.
Great. Somebody from, yes, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I go to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I'm also not an alien. I was talking to my friend Sam Sherman. He also goes to Ellington. We're both in the theater department. I was talking to him because everyone else got a partner before. Thanks. Anyway, we were talking about becoming the change that we want to see in the world, and that is truly what I've learned from all the talks that we've had about citizen artistry. And I'm also very thankful, like I was just thinking how thankful I am that I get to go to a program that has such a strong arts program, because at Ellington at least we treat academics just as strongly as we treat arts. And I learn equally from both the programs, and for every school to be like Ellington would be great, so that we can create more leaders and create more leaders and be the citizens and the artists and the change that we want to see in the world. So.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very, very much. So, Carrie Mae Weems, since you're going to form a corporation with your buddies, and I'd like to ask you what you came up with as citizen artists, because you are one, but I just want to know what your definition is.
I'm totally not prepared.
That's fine. You've been graced with.
Well, I think that one of the most perhaps important things that I think that I try to do is to ask questions, to ask critical questions, and questions that encourage dialogue and conversation and exchange, and not to be afraid to ask them, but to actually be sort of sometimes like a thorn in the side. And so now I'm just getting a chance to meet Sebastian, and I know a lot about the project that he's actually working on, because I'm asking and listening and trying to discover the possible.
That's great. So you're finding out about each other. I think there's a lot. I know we need to wrap up, but I think from what we heard from Sonia, La Lucha is actually a very much part of the whole process of being a citizen, because we actually need to see, as Theaster has said, and that in fact, for me, there's a certain thing, we talked about big change and fear, but that in between the citizenship part that this lady talked about, which is break up the boxes, go to where you're needed, right? And bring whatever you have stone soup. You bring, and you take the limits off, and then you start from there. You form a corporation of a group of people that like-minded, and you try and you just start. And so maybe we need to end on this note because we have coming up a fabulous panel. Mario, would you like to introduce our hero moderator and other guests?
Thanks, Yo-Yo.
Thank you.